So it's no surprise that the Lexus GX460 gets horrible gas mileage. But more troublesome than the cost of gas itself is something that affects those that off-road their Lexus GX460. Today, we're going to be talking about range anxiety. So, the Lexus GX460 is nearly perfect. It's got KDSS, it's got A-Track, it'll take you anywhere you point it. But a big issue with the Lexus GX460, especially as it pertains to off-roaders, is the fuel consumption. And when I say fuel consumption, I'm not simply talking about it costs a lot to fill it up and it gets 12 miles a gallon or whatever it is. It's not so much the cost, but instead it is the limitation of available range on this vehicle, especially when you're going off-road. Now, this range anxiety is similar to what those people who have driven electric cars, battery electric vehicles, have expressed, and that is when they're on road, they have to worry about where they're going to charge their battery. Is there a charging station nearby? Are they going to have enough range and that sort of thing? They call that range anxiety. For those of you who off-road your GX460 or intend to off-road your GX460, you actually experience something similar. Now, of course, you're not going to experience this on road because even with the horrible gas mileage, you always know there's a gas station nearby. But when you go off on adventure in your GX460 into the wilderness or in the middle of the desert like we do, it's very, very uncomfortable knowing that the fuel consumption is at such a rate that we actually have to carefully pay attention to how far the trail is, how far away we're going, and how near it is to normal roads so we can get to a gas station if we need to. In other words, if none of my babbling makes sense, when you take this gas hog off-road, you have to worry about your range due to the heavy fuel consumption. So today is going to just be a beginner tip for those of you out there that off-road your GX and where you might just want some help with that range anxiety that I'm talking about. This is a beginner tip, but it can help those of you who off-road casually and have more experience. But in general, the way I alleviate range anxiety is to get very intimate with the mileage to fuel up feature on this GX460. So if you go into your vehicle display and scroll through the settings, you'll see a picture of the GX and then an arrow pointing to the gas tank. And this, of course, will tell you your rough estimated mileage until you need to fill up. Now, of course, this is not perfectly accurate. But what I found is a combination of getting to know your range to empty feature on your GX, along with carefully knowing your off-road course when you do decide to go off-roading, knowing how many miles are on that course, and then adding a safety margin on top of that. These two calculations, if you will, combined will take away a lot of your range anxiety. Now, to many of you, this is common sense, but many people don't know that the range to empty feature is there, or many beginners may not realize that running out of gas in the middle of nowhere in a car that gets 14 miles a gallon is a very real thing. In fact, the European version, or I should say the world version of this vehicle, the Land Cruiser Prado, came with an extra feature of an extended range gas tank. They put the spare tire from underneath onto the back swing out door. That's why it swings out like that, to hold the spare tire. So they could actually put a bigger gas tank under where the spare tire is on this GX. So in a nutshell, to alleviate off-road range and anxiety, if you have it, or if you don't have it and you just want to get into better off-road practices to make your experience overall better, get into the habit of getting to know that range to empty feature. After a while, you'll start to trust it. Now again, add a safety margin of a few miles to empty. Don't go down to 0. Add 10 miles or whatever you need to account for inconsistencies and whatever, the real world. Do that both on your range to empty and when you're plotting whatever trail you're going to go up. Take the total mileage. You can use Google Maps. Everybody knows how to do that and calculate your route. Add your total mileage, and then again, add a safety margin, 10, 15 miles for whatever reality, right? Between these two safety margins, between your range to empty and your Google Maps plot, you're going to virtually eliminate any worries of gas. You will be well informed of when you need to get gas. It won't be a troublesome thing. Now, of course, you're going to have to remember to calculate and read the range to empty and do these calculations, but you're not going to have to stress at all. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great, great day.